Hello, this is Minder Chen. I'm a professor of Management Information Systems at Martin V. Smith School of Business Economics at CSU Channel Island. In this lecture, I'm going to talk just briefly about innovation and business model, and I'll present to you a template for you to describe your business model and also what triggered innovative idea which you can implement it into your business model. We did mention earlier in our e-commerce lecture that about the term friction. Here is a more concise definition in regarding friction. A customer friction is a discovered or rediscover of relevant and often unmet needs in a recognizable situation from our target group of user, which means that a user who gets frustrated in certain situation, they cannot get certain things done in the way they want it to be, or the product or service they interact with turned out to be too difficult to use or do not have certain functionality. If yourself or people you know have this type of frustration, we will refer to it as customer friction, and that will actually give you an opportunity as a starting point of creating a very innovative product or services to reduce such friction and to actually meet the unmet needs from this type of customer. Another good way to get started once you have some idea what you want to develop is actually to develop something called persona. Persona is an archetype of kind of a typical user and who may use your product or services. They're not a real specific person, but they kind of represent as real as possible a kind of a collected, combined personality of a typical customer that you may have, and you will use it in your process to kind of to kind of get your designer to think more realistically about the potential customer who may use your product or services. And you can actually develop a cast of personas, which means a number of personalities, and who may use your system in different category. And this is a list of attributes which you may want to kind of specify to describe a persona. Name, age, photo, a quotation from this persona, etc. And what's the goal and what kind of things they want to get done. And using persona evoke a really strong sense of empathy of your project team members, so they can feel more real in terms of a real person that they need to serve in the design process. And so you will focus on the goal of the typical customer rather than the project team member. And when we talk about the unmet needs, we need to kind of differentiate a little bit about the three attributes of user experiences. It's useful, usable, and desirable. If we laid it out as a hierarchy, certainly you want your product or service to be useful in the first place, but then you want it to be usable, which is relatively easy to use, easy to have access to. And on the top is really desirable. You say, I got to have it. Okay, people keep saying, I got to have it. That's the desirability. Okay. And the desirability lead us to the three lenses of human-centered design. This diagram came from Ideal in their human-centered design kind of a methodology. They lay out a kind of three circle which interact with each other in the innovation process. Desirability is from the user viewpoint, what the user want to have. And then you also need to think about the viability, which is kind of cost benefit, justification about whether this product or service is viable in terms of economic issue, like would customer willing to pay for such desirable features, so we can cover our costs and make some profit out of it. And last not the least is the from the engineering and design viewpoint, we need to think about the feasibility. Is it possible to actually create a product to meet the desired feature that the user want, and also it's viable from the business viewpoint? So that's kind of a product design perspective in terms of technical feasibility. Viability we may refer to as economic feasibility. And desirability, maybe if we refer to as kind of operational aspect of feasibility. Another way to think about presenting your idea is to come up with elevator pitch. Thinking about a situation that you got a great idea, but you need funding from outside source, and then you happen to meet someone who is a venture capitalist on an elevator ride, and so it's interesting to hear what you have to say, but he's very busy. The only time you get his attention is on that elevator ride. You may have 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or a minute, depends on how high is the building. So if we have a very concise statement, we can say our business, you name your business, would deliver, a list of your product or service you can deliver to who will be your target audience, and what would the benefit that you're going to bring to those target audience, or what kind of problem you can solve for them. Okay. And this actually came from Linda Applegate and her colleague in an article called Developing an Elevator Pitch for New Venture. What I listed here is kind of a more elaborated version of the elevator pitch if you have more time spent with that person. If we break down this elevator pitch, it's basically you have to address what it is that you try to develop, and second is who will be your target audience, and who will be the segment of the market that you try to address, and also you need to answer the question like why I have to care, why people may be interested in it, and why it matter. So the key issue we want to address is to understand the problem we try to tackle, and then present the solution that we try to deliver. So the first question is, why does this problem matter? Okay. And how severe is this problem? And then if we can come up with a solution, how big is the opportunity? And how fast the business potentially can grow? Or anybody has tried to solve it before, and what kind of current solution we may have, and why your solution is better than anybody else, and what value proposition that you have, and who may benefit from your solution. You need to define your product and services, and you also need to kind of identify the potential or existing competitor in the marketplace, so you can kind of argue you do have a better solution comparing to what your competitor may have in terms of in the marketplace. And you also need to address the issue in terms of how you're going to generate the revenue. We call it revenue string in our business model e-commerce discussion. And you need to think about profitability, how you can leverage some of the capability you may already have, and whether you can scale smoothly to reach a larger market size. And definitely you need to, since you're asking for funding, you need to talk about the resource that may be required. Money, time, and also human talent. If you have a strong, talented team, that certainly attract a lot of investors willing to support you. And you do want to kind of have some kind of teaser to get people's attention and to listen to you. Don't just present a kind of a business model or pitch. Just say, oh, I got a great idea and can make a lot of money. You kind of start with kind of addressing a problem. Something like, what keeps you awake at night? Okay. Or have you ever been frustrated with this? Okay, that's kind of the teaser that you can use. And then you communicate a kind of a grand vision and set the goal to describe what you have come up with. So raising money is not easy, and particularly if you have some unproven early stage conceptual idea that you try to implement, it's very difficult to convince people to give you their money. And so how to communicate your vision and how to describe your business in a short period of time in that elevator ride is an important skill for any entrepreneur who may not have a lot of money and really rely on venture capital lists money to get you started. Okay, this is actually a template for you to think about your business model. Very similar. You find some similarity of this with that extended version of elevator pitch. And you can find a preview version of a book which title is Business Model Generation. And the author studied many business and came up with the following key elements of a business model. And they refer to this as a business model canvas. Okay, so get yourself a large sheet of paper, and then you can draw your own business model on a piece of paper. You need to think about who are your target audience, which segment you try to address, how you can reach your customer, and what kind of relationship that you want to develop with your customer. And also at the same time, you need to think about what product or service that you have to offer. And that's your value proposition. What value your product and service will bring to the customer. And that's the what element. Behind the scene, you do need to work with some key partner suppliers and technology partner, etc., to create and to deliver your product or service. What key activity that you need to perform, and eventually what resource that you need. This portion, okay, line up the supplier, work with them, getting resources to pay your employee, your supplier, and perform the activity is part of the cost factors that you need to consider. And once you have the product and service developed and you can reach out and sell it to your customer, that's when we can bring in money into the company. With the cost and the revenue considering together, and that actually will be our cash flow. And cash flow for startup company is very important. You don't want to get into a cash flow problem. So managing your cash flow is certainly very important. Let's look at this 9 building block another way. Remember, we have how we're going to develop the product service, what is our product and service, and who are we going to sell it to, and how much would it cost, and how much we're going to charge, and how many we can sell in order to bring in revenue into the firm. So think about the client and the segment of the market. Think about your offering, which target this segment of customer, and think about what channel you're going to use to reach out to your customer, your distribution channel in this case, and what kind of relationship you want to develop with your customer. And for the offer that you have, you do need to think about that whether people are willing to pay for it, and that would actually generate the revenue stream that you need in order to pay for employee, supplier, research and development, marketing cost. For your offer, you need to think about what are the key issue you try to solve for your customer, or what kind of friction you try to reduce that your customer currently experience and not happy with. So you need to think about your core competence, what activity you need to perform, and what resources that you may need in order to do all this kind of things. And you cannot do everything yourself, so you need to think about who may be your key suppliers, key partner. This partner network is referring to the people you need to work with collaboratively in order to provide the product or service that you have. And this portion on the how column reflect your cost structure, and the revenue and the cost, the difference is your profit. So this simple model is actually pretty universal. You can use it to describe pretty much any business. For certain business, your focus may be on develop a stronger relationship, or using a new channel, or target a specific niche market. So your emphasis and your strengths may be slightly different, but you definitely need to consider all this 9 building block with different priority and focus in some of the building block when you try to formulate your business model. This is a sample example of the use of the Facebook and kind of laid out their business model. And the numbers that you're seeing here may not be current, but give you an idea how you can kind of describe your business idea, your company, or someone else's company using this business model canvas here. You can actually kind of create this business model on a big piece of paper on the wall and encourage people to write some of the more detailed information on post-it notes, and then so people can start stick some of the things they identify in each one of the block on this canvas, and at the end you got your business model. Okay, it's a collaborative effort. It's not someone who come up with all the element in this building block. It's everybody got involved and think creatively and using this template. So this can be a great tool for you to formulate your business model and for you to present your business model. Okay, this concludes our discussion of innovation and business model. I'll see you next time. Thank you.